Coach J? Nah, he had his shot. I'm done with the Whitetails. I'm moving on to bigger and better things. Look, I was an All-American. What is he thinking kicking me off the squad? That stuff doesn't matter anymore, though. I'm coming for revenge. JJ Wyatt is back. Yo, what's good, YouTube? This is Jake from TNJ, and welcome back to the Whitetails Dynasty, and welcome to the recruiting special here in Season 8. And you guys remember 2 seasons ago, JJ Wyatt was a freshman All-American for the Whitetails. He had promise, he was great, he led our team in tackles, and now he is back, and he will commit to Ohio State as the #1 overall recruit in the nation and the #1 JUCO athlete. And also, Ohio State doubles down on 1 and 2. They also get the #1 running back in the nation in George Lee. They are building a juggernaut, and they will keep doing that. But let's talk about our first recruit of the season who commits to the Whitetails, quarterback COLLIN KURTZ. Now, you guys know I've been having troubles at quarterback. Jabari Hollywood, well, he's not the most accurate guy, and maybe he might have to switch positions. And then Deshaun Wilson, bad luck struck him as he got hurt in his first start. So we definitely need to shore up the quarterback position. Now, KURTZ is an accurate quarterback. He has really good arm strength as well. So he kind of has the arm strength of Jabari Hollywood and the accuracy of Wilson. He's not deadly accurate, but he can definitely develop into a very, very good quarterback for us. And quite frankly, he's one of the best in the nation. He was a U.S. Army All-American, and he is the first commit through the first 4 games to the Whitetails. Now let's talk about a guy he was throwing to in this U.S. All-American game, and this is Jalen Waters, a 4-star wide receiver. Now, he has speed. That is his calling card. Also, he's got size. Kind of reminds me a little bit of AJ Green. I think that's kind of my player comp with him. AJ Green is athletic. He is injury prone, but Waters isn't injury prone. But, you know, one thing that does need to get better in his game, Waters that is his route running. And he kind of is a straight line type of receiver right now, but he can hold the ball in traffic, which is definitely going to help at the collegiate level. Now let's stick in this U.S. Army All-American game and look at running back SHAD Sparks. He is a power back. Now, our last power back on the roster was Adam Murphy, our last true power back. But Sparks really is a power back. I mean, he is dangerous when he gets the ball. I mean, guys shy away from tackling him. I mean, just look at him. Every single guy that tries to tackle him, they're pretty much not even getting a good hit on him. He is falling forward on every single tackle. I kind of compare him to Brandon Jacobs. Brandon Jacobs was a big power back. you know, he was a 3-down back too. Just watch out for him. I think that Sparks right now is more of a 2-down back, but he definitely can develop into a 3-down back. I like his potential for sure. Now, we do have a tight end kind of a problem right now. You know, the only tight end on the roster right now is Ramel Williams. So we definitely need to kind of add some depth there just in case of injury and to kind of replace Ramel Williams when we have to 3 years down the line. Now, I'm looking at Specht here at tight end. I kind of compare him to Travis Rudolph. He does need to probably get redshirted, but he has a ton of potential. And, you know, the one thing about him is that he can catch the ball. He can catch the ball really well right now. So if we really need him to play as a true freshman, if he does commit, it's definitely a possibility for us to go that route. But I really, really like his potential. He was the only guy we scouted at the breast cancer awareness camp. Now, let's talk about two teammates who I think are flying under the radar as far as nationally ranked goes. And we're going to talk about two guys. Noah Herndon is going to be the first guy. He is an athletic outside linebacker. You know who I compare him to? Brian Cushing. Remember how good Brian Cushing was in college? And then he got to the pros and had a pretty short career, but he was really good. And I think that he's got the potential to be kind of a technically sound linebacker. He's got the athleticism. He can rush the passer. He can cover a little bit, but I think his athleticism will take him places. Now let's talk about the guy who I think has a very high ceiling, and this is edge rusher Grady Boozer. Now Grady Boozer kind of reminds me of Deshaun Harrington. Remember Deshaun Harrington? I did redshirt him this past season. He's going to be a redshirt freshman next year. But take a look at this play. This is the play that got me excited about him. Just look at this. Just pushing the guard back into the quarterback, and it causes the errant throw. If he can cause plays like this at the collegiate level, I mean, we're going to have a dangerous defensive line. Frankie Kai up front. Anderson Reed's still there. I mean, we could have a dangerous front if he does commit to our team. Now let's add to the secondary a little bit, and I'm going to look at this guy, Shane Bauer. Shane Bauer is interesting. He is a cover corner, strictly man though. Like, he's not that good at zone. And one thing about him is that he is long as well, 6'2". And you know, I talk about our secondary a lot this year. Coco Bamaye is probably the best cover corner, I think, in the nation. He is the most underrated guy. But one thing that sets him apart is his length. And adding Bauer and that length to the secondary come next year, because we have two seniors starting at corner, and then we'll have also redshirt freshman Barry Willis starting. He's only about 5'9", 5'10" with shoes on. I think we need to add some more length, and Bauer can definitely add that to the secondary, and I'm excited for his potential. He's already got a state championship as well, so he comes with that championship pedigree. Now let's talk about a defensive tackle who played in the Under Armour All-American game. This is Alawi Husky. So we went to both All-American games this year, the Army one and the Under Armour one. But Husky didn't really show up in this game. He is still the #1 ranked defensive tackle, but he did not flash at all in this game, which kind of left scouts scratching their head a little bit. They're kind of wondering if he can play against elite competition. But, you know, one guy that had no doubt in this game was Jameer Moss. He is the #1 power back in the nation. I mean, he is unstoppable. I mean, just look at the power. Now, he has the size of Derrick Henry, the strength of Jerome Bettis. I mean, this guy is amazing. You know, one thing about him, though, he does not have the speed. He only has about low 80 speed, more than likely, when he's coming in his freshman year, but he has that power like no other. You give it to him inside the 5, he's definitely a threat to score, but he's probably just a 2-down back, and mainly because, you know, on 3rd down, you definitely need a guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can't do that. He's strictly a straight line guy, but he's going to run through a ton of tackles. Now, let's take a look at this play right here. This is what I'm talking about. So he gets past the 1st level, gets to the 2nd level, but take a look. He just takes on contact. He goes straight for the safety. This is one of the top safeties in the nation. Just remember that. He is the #2 safety in the nation. He just goes straight at him, runs straight through him. He had a choice. Make a juke move, try to get some extra yards. Instead, he just runs right through the guy. I mean, that's the type of player that Moss is. If we get him, I mean, this would be a home run signing. but we'll have to see because there are a lot of guys going after him. So let's just look at our full board here. And, you know, surprisingly, a wide receiver is our #1 prospect. And the reason why that is because, remember, Marquise Moore, you know, he's definitely a playmaker right now, but he's an older veteran. We're going to need somebody to take over for, you know, our receiving core, at least in the future. And I think that Jalen Waters has that potential. I'm banking on potential here in this recruiting class. SHAD Sparks, you know, I think we have a good shot with him. He's very, very strong at running back. 90 strength. He's going to break a lot of tackles, truck a lot of guys. He's got size, doesn't have the elite speed. He can't catch the ball at all, but he's got size and 6'2". I mean, we got 2 power backs on the board. We're definitely going to have to do some work in recruiting with these 2 guys, because if we get at least one of them, I think we're in good shape. Now, I talked about Shane Bauer. We are in 2nd place for him. Purdue is actually in the running for him. He is from Indiana as well. So we will have our work cut out to get him. We will definitely need him in the secondary, especially to kind of pair with Barry Willis. Now, I just talked about Jameer Moss. You can just see him here, only 82 speed, and that's what I'm talking about. And I think that if we get him, we can definitely use him in short yardage situations, and also just giving it to him at the end of games. He can just power through defenses. He is a #5 halfback in the country, 6'3", 228. I mean, he is a tank. Now, at tight end, Respect is one of our favorite guys on the board simply because I like his potential. He's got decent speed at tight end, 80 speed, 83 acceleration. I think his catching ability is better than a D. I think when we fully get him on the roster, I think he will end up being better than what is advertised. Now, let's talk about another receiver who I think is very, very underrated. You can see he's ranked number 169 in the country, but he's 71 overall. I mean, this guy is good. He can run routes. He's a crispy route runner, and he has the size, but he just does not have the elite speed. It's okay because I'm going to probably redshirt him if I do get him, so we'll have to see. Now let's look at the first athlete on the board. This is Nicholas Marshall. He's 76 overall as an athlete, and looking at half of his ratings unlocked here, he looks like kind of a quarterback. So we will have a couple of quarterbacks on our roster probably next year that will be brand new. I guess we'll have to see, though. It's pretty interesting. At least we'll have options. Now, Noah Herndon and also Grady Boozer are those 2 athletic guys who have high ceilings. They will likely both get redshirted, but I like their future potential on this roster. Now, let's talk about 2 other quarterbacks, Jay Means and Charlie Doom. Now, we do not have a shot at them. Jay Means looks like he is committing to Wisconsin. I initially put a lot of points into him, but Wisconsin really started to take off in recruiting, so I kind of eased it back a little bit. It seems like we are going to lose out on him. Now, Charlie Doom is a smaller quarterback, and I didn't really go after him too hard just because I had other options right away, and KURTZ committed early, so I didn't really need to put any points on him. Now, I already talked about Grady Boozer, but it looks like we are in the driver's seat. NIU is in 2nd place, but it doesn't seem like they're even close, so I expect Boozer to commit within the next couple weeks. Now, Alawi Husky, we are still in the running, but there are a lot of teams gunning for him. Like I said, he is a #1 defensive tackle. He is one of the few 5 stars on our board, believe it or not. And how I do my recruiting is I do recruit in the Midwest, but I am also recruiting in the Southeast this year. That's why you see Husky on this board. So, guys that are interested in coming to the school in the Southeast, we will also be recruiting from now on, now that we have got that national attention. Now, let's talk about an athletic linebacker who I am actually really stoked about because this guy is athletic. He can also play all 3 linebacker positions and also be an edge rusher. Clinton Jacobs, 6'3", 209. He's actually got pretty good size out of Bismarck, North Dakota, and it looks like we are in the driver's seat for him too. Bowling Green is our only competition. I really like his potential. I mean, this recruiting class has a ton of potential. I think a lot of these guys are ranked wrong in the nation, so I think that we will have a lot of fun with a lot of these guys. Now, defensive line actually is a position that a lot of guys are interested in coming to the Whitetails mainly because we got a lot of guys drafted. Remember, Bobby Mathis, Jonathan Simmons, a lot of guys like that. They saw the potential out of those guys and saw how they got to the next level. Now guys want to come, like Brett Bennett. I mean, he is an elite talent at defensive tackle, and he will actually be a preferred walk-on. He was not a custom recruit. So the ratings you see for these CPU generated guys, they will get that -3 deduction in their skill position attributes. So defensive tackle, for example, would be finesse moves, power moves, and block shedding, -3. Now, another preferred walk-on, Dominic Holly. We are in the running for him, a 5-star player. Now, he is a receiver that was interested in coming to us. And look at the top 3 schools, Wisconsin, Marquette, and the Whitetails. It would be awesome to steal this guy away from those schools, and this guy would be a preferred walk-on. So his ratings for route running, catching traffic, all that receiver attributes would go down -3 because he's a preferred walk-on. Now, this guy isn't a preferred walk-on, Dylan Abram. You know, he's a pretty good tight end, to be honest, but we are way too far behind, so we're not even going to try and get him. Now, I will be transferring some points over to Will Copes, though. We don't really need a free safety, which is why I didn't initially put points on him. And also, other schools aren't going after him right now, and we are still in the top schools for him. So I think that this guy has a good chance of coming. Remember, we do have safeties right now already locked up in the starting roles and aren't going anywhere, like Justin Royal, like Ali Myers. Unless they go to the NFL, that is the only thing. But at least we have them for one more year. We'll see. Matty Pitt, a guard. We haven't really talked offensive line, which I will add offensive linemen to the board later in the season if they're still available. I do still need to develop those. But I talked about defensive line as being a position where a lot of CPU generated guys wanted to come, and Brian Callahan was one. We just fell behind a little too far, so he is still at the bottom of the board. I'm pretty sure I'm just going to remove him, and he was an interesting prospect and he was really good, but you know, we recruited some defensive linemen here, and I think that we're pretty much set there right now. At least we don't need to recruit anybody at this moment. Nathan Barber, that's really close to Nathan Beaver. I almost said that. He is a receiver, but he has locked us out. He is listed as an athlete, but probably a receiver. Eugene Scott, I tried to recruit a punter because I don't like to cheat and put my kicker at punter. So I am going to need to get a punter because Mason is going to be graduating next season. But another athlete at the bottom of this board is Aaron Robinson. He is actually pretty decent. I'm going to start putting points on him as well. I don't know what he's going to be, but he would be a preferred walk-on as well. He has B route running, so I want to see what he's going to be like. But then he has also B pursuit, C tackling, C hit power, so he can play both sides of the ball. You never know. Now, a preferred walk-on that has already committed, who I did not talk about at all, is Jamarcus Levine, and this guy will be renamed to one of you guys as a preferred walk-on from Cincinnati, Ohio, a 4-star prospect, 6'5", 261, the number 15 defensive tackle, and man, he has a chance to play right away. He will get that -3 in attribute deduction though, so he will actually come in pretty well though. 86 power moves and 86 finesse moves, so he'll come in 83 and 83 when he starts. Now, looking at COLLIN KURTZ, who I am really excited about, he is really athletic. I kind of compare him to Carson Wentz. I think he has that type of athleticism and that type of talent. So I'm excited to see him on campus next season. So that will do it here in the recruiting special. Let me know what you guys think of this class, because I think this is a high potential class. It might not be a top 10 ranked class, but I think top 10 ranked as far as potential goes. I don't see a lot of, or if any at all, busts on our board at all. But there is a lot of talent here in this recruiting class. I mean, look at all these guys. I mean, these are high 70s guys, probably a lot of low 80s as well. Look at the number 1 guard. He was listed as 81. Remember Barber, who we have on our board? He is number 21 in the nation. I mean, so many guys, but I see a lot of recruits going to teams like Marquette, teams like Wisconsin here at the top, and Ohio State. So they're getting better as well. So we need to also get better. And, you know, one team that I do not see up here at all as that guy right there, Rob Collier, Alabama. Alabama has none of these top prospects at all. I mean, look at them. I mean, all these other top guys, they're going to other schools, even smaller schools like Bowling Green. Look at Kansas here. I mean, Florida State, that's a Vince Morris, Northern Illinois. I mean, these top recruits are starting to go to these smaller schools. It's very, very interesting here in this dynasty. I wonder what's going to happen here in the shift of power. That's going to be really, really interesting. So hit subscribe, hit that like button. We're hopping straight back into action next episode. So stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.
Yeah, they filling out these job applications. Life got hard after high school graduation. I went to college and your boy got financial aid. They gave me money, then I went and bought a pair of J's. And I bought a pair of shades. And I bought a new computer. Had $400 left, spent the rest on